Hello, everyone. This is Monica, the Creative Beast, and I'm here to share an art book flip through of sorts for a book that I created for the Are You Book Enough Challenge. I learned about it back in 2017, and I made a book for almost every month in 2018. Yeah, I think I made a book for every month theme of 2018. I'll provide a link to the website where you can learn more about Are You Book Enough. It's hosted by Sarah Moe, and you can find her on Instagram at Editions Studio and at Ink and All, and I'll provide those links as well. So the theme for January 2018 was darkness. And darkness is not exactly something I'm good at, but I made this book and I'm excited to share it with you. The way the challenge works is that there's a theme every single month, and you find a way of making a book that speaks to that theme. So there are a lot of amazing book artists that are part of the community, and they create some fabulous books. Some of them are very highly conceptual, some of them are really simple, a lot of them are humorous as well. So I really enjoy being a part of this community. So let me go ahead and do a little bit of camera magic so we can see my book of darkness. Ooh. So I am not somebody who works with black a lot, really. If you can tell by the colors of my current new logo in the making and colors I'm wearing today and things I've probably worn in some previous videos. And if you look at some of my art in my Instagram page, you'll see that I don't really work with black a lot. And I didn't really plan on working with black until these items fell into my hands, and it was some leftover strips of black poster board. I was working at an art supply store at the time, and this is just a little bit of it here. And this is the colophon, and a colophon is kind of usually it's the last page in a book that gives you the information about a book. And it will tell you the date, the author, information about the font and the typesetting, because it's usually like limited edition books that have a colophon. So this just mentions Are You Book Enough Challenge, January 2018. The theme is on the front, darkness. And I wanted to work with quotes about darkness. So let's see if we can get this untied here. But there's, you know, a lot of metaphor happening with my book. I guess I should have had this untied before I started. Okay, so colophon, and I used, you know, some metallic marker. I used a lot of metallic paint and markers for this book to show up against the black, to show up against the darkness. But I knew from the beginning I wanted to work with quotes about darkness and darkness as the metaphor for depression, because I have actually suffered depression in my life. I forget sometimes to share that with people because there are a lot of people who suffer from depression, and it's a mental health issue that I care about and we need to do something about in this country. So this is some cardstock that I used for what I call the wraparound, and I have this rayon ribbon that I tie up. So my darkness is all tied up in more darkness. And I was kind of working down to the wire a little bit, so some of the marker was starting to smear, so I had to use a bit of paper. But this is some poster board, black board, and I've used shimmery pearlescent watercolor paints on most of it. And I wanted it to feel like you're kind of floating in the universe. And this is sort of like pieces of a puzzle, okay? So let's set that aside real quick as we go on to, this is sort of more of a colophon. This is the quote attribution. So you can read through all of that. if you were holding it in your hands. But I want to attribute, you know, all the quotes. And then the back has watercolor shimmery paint. So it looks like you're floating in the universe. Because the universe is dark, and yet there are beautiful glints of light among the stars and the planets. Okay, this is the list of materials used. Thought I'd include that. Kind of helps to bounce out all the parts that fit into this wrapping. So we remove this part so we can read. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. The source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding. Quote from the Tao Te Ching. And having suffered depression, I do feel that we have a lot to learn from that darkness, as some of us might call it, some of us who suffer from it. So these are, you could call them pages of the book. So they were long strips of blackboard. They had been cut from a larger piece and they were going to be thrown out into the trash. But the people at the art supply store knew that myself and one of my other coworkers would love to use these leftovers. So that was one of the perks of working at the art supply stores, that we had some leftover supplies that we could use and have. And I used some pearlescent watercolor paints by Jack Richardson. I have so much fun. And the pretty white that is splattered throughout was a handmade paint made by one of my coworkers. And I will try to remember to have a little link to her Instagram. She doesn't make them. She was just playing around. I was a lucky beneficiary. And the way this works is there's quotes and they all connect. So you can see there's a part of a quote. And if we can find the match to this, then we'll be able to solve the puzzle, as it were, the puzzle pieces of the quote. Okay, and I'm starting to find them now. But you can see that there's lots of pieces here. Okay, so I'm going to keep looking around. Pieces. Okay. So here are some parts that actually go together, and some of them, they kind of bleed one into another. So the darkness shall be the light, and the stillness the dancing. These go together. If we can find the last piece. So now I have to go looking around through these parts. Let's see. Okay, these go together that way. That, I think, let's see. I guess I should have made sure that all these parts were in order. But hey, the way a puzzle works, you got to find all the parts, right? And that's part of the fun of this book, really. So I'm going to keep looking around. Where did this? Okay, here we go. I think I have it now. The real meaning of enlightenment is to gaze with undimmed eyes on all darkness. And night are mothers of thought. Here's another part. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. The darkest nights make the brightest stars. Let's see if we can find the mate to this. If we can. All these parts and parts and parts is parts. But if you look carefully, you can usually see that there are some connectors. And I'm trying to find some of those connectors. Oh, here we go. Is that? Nope, that's not the one. Crikey, crikey, where's that connector? Oh, here we go. Let's see. Okay. So we have a combination of quotes happening here. Okay, so these are connecting to lead into the next quote. So the darkness shall be the light, and the stillness the dancing. So there's just a quick sampling of all the puzzle parts. Woohoo! I meant it to be like a puzzle. So you do have to go looking around for all the parts to make up the book. I did have a lot of fun. It's not easy to put some of these together because some of these quotes are rather long. I made a lot of paper workouts, and some of these quotes are more than 3 pages or pieces long. And maybe another day I will try and do a bigger, better flip through of the book. But I do love being able to put it together. And I wrap it up. So the darkness just gets wrapped up again. Quotes wrapped up in darkness, as it were. And that is how my darkness video works. My darkness book works. Oh, goodness. So, yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I guess I should have been a little more planning in advance of the book so I could share it a little more easily. But it probably worked out a little bit better this way because now you really get an idea of the fact that it is sort of puzzle pieces, lots of quotes about darkness and the light, because let's face it, we can't have light without darkness. Can't have shimmery stars without darkness. So, yeah, it probably worked out better this way. So you get a sampling, a little smattering of some of the quotes that are in this book. You get to see how it works, how it opens up, how it closes. And I did have a lot of fun making this book for the challenge. And I'm working on another book for this month. And the theme is family. I hope to have that done soon. But I'm going to be making some videos of some of my previous books for Are You Book Enough? Because now I have like a whole year's worth, and I actually started in November or December, so I have a few extra books. So be on the lookout for some of those videos. And thanks so much for being here. I hope you had fun watching this video and seeing my crazy little puzzle book of darkness. Thanks, and hope I'll see you again soon.